All right, we'd like to welcome everyone to our city council meeting tonight. Appreciate everyone who's here in attendance and those who are watching. I've asked Chief Steve Adams to come up, and since this is Law Enforcement Week, I thought he'd be good to have him come up and give us a short message and give us our prayer.
But in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Memorial Officers Day. And then the week that May 15th falls in is considered the Public Safety National Police Week. And so today's May 15th, and the mayor called me and asked me to say a few words, and I thought it was very timely. I happen to be speaking this next Sunday in church on selfless service. And oftentimes my thoughts in preparing for that talk this coming Sunday has gone to several of the officers in the service of Spanish Fork City and what they do for the city. So I wanted to first go back to two officers who have given their lives in service of the community. First being that of Larry Penrod. And the council is aware of this and Larry's service to the community. But back in 1990, Officer Penrod was investigating a traffic accident on Main Street. And while doing that investigation, he was struck by a passing car. He succumbed to those injuries at a later date, but was recognized as being an officer who fell in the line of duty, who passed away doing an act of service for the community. He's now honored in different locations throughout the state as well as in the nation. The other officer that has passed away in the line of duty in Spanish Fork is that of Kendall Atwood. Kendall Atwood in 1999 was investigating a suspicious vehicle at our Spanish Oaks golf course. And during that investigation, he was accosted by at least two individuals, and he has succumbed to those injuries that he sustained at that time as well. He was an officer who worked in the DARE program, one of our first DARE officers, and the kids loved him. He was a great artist. And in fact, there's pictures that are still floated around every now and again where he painted the DARE symbol in front of a school. And the kids really enjoyed watching him paint and the lessons that he taught. And he's one of those officers that worked for Spanish Fork and gave of his life in the service of our community. And so there are several officers now that work for us in Spanish Fork, and there are 33 of them, and soon, hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll have 35. But I wanted to show you the pictures of those individuals who currently work for the city. And as I'm reading the poem, Seth will go through these pictures of officers who work for us here today. There's a person we think we all know. We see him no matter where we go. He is there to protect us and keep us from harm, sometimes from evil, and other times when there seems to be no alarm. He sees all that we choose to wear blinds to. When he pulls you over, he protects others, and yes, even you. Keep in mind when driving by that accident with a sheet, he is the one with tears in his heart standing in the street. He is the one that walks into a family's home where he finds a battered child, holds his anger and minds his tone. He sees the woman who has been beaten until she has bled, knows that next week another tear this woman will shed. He's the one who goes to work on the streets full of guns and drugs. While praying, he makes it home to his wife and children's hugs. This man is expected to see the things and stay polite, to tolerate abuse both on sides of daylight and night. Some say he's there to harass and others with his power. He's actually there to protect us hour after hour. Yes, he did know these things came with the job he chose, but he is human, and having a badge does not enable him to have his heart close. Many ask, why did he choose this job to do? He chose it hoping to help. He chose it for me. He chose it for you. We have a great staff on the police department. They love to serve the community, and they get that love back from the community. There are so many circumstances where citizens in their time of need have expressed their thanks to our officers, and it truly means a lot to them as they go about their day-to-day business. And likewise, they know that they get the support from the city council and the mayor, and we do truly appreciate that. May we pray? Our Father in heaven, we are so grateful for the opportunity to meet together this evening and service to the community. We ask thee as we conduct the business of this city that thy Spirit might guide our minds and our thoughts and our actions, that we might be able to do things which would better the city, to better our community living. We're grateful for the opportunity to serve. We're grateful for the protection we receive. We ask thee to continue to guide and direct us and help us, that we might be able to serve thee to full capacity. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Thanks, Chief. Steve. All right, I've asked one of our Boy Scouts that we've got here tonight to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I've asked Sorens Tanner if he'd come up and do that for us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Sorens. Appreciate that. All right. Let's go to public comments. Is anyone here that would, from the public, like to address the mayor and the council? You're sure free to come up and talk to us. Seeing none, we'll go to council comments. Let's start with Councilman Scobes.
Mayor, just a couple small things real quick. One, a reminder for the upcoming Memorial Day celebration at the city cemetery, 10 o'clock. That's coming up. I have a library board meeting on Tuesday the 23rd, so I'll have a report after that meeting. And then just one community note. I had the opportunity to go to a baseball game. A couple of my fourth graders had invited me to go watch their baseball game down at the field, and was able to go down for about a half hour, 45 minutes to watch and cheer for them before going off to other meetings and other things. And it actually was really neat to be down there. There was a father and son playing catch, just I guess waiting for their game. Dad was having a hard time catching the ball, didn't have a mitt, and another dad who was watching his son play actually hollered over, offered up his glove to the dad so he could play catch with his son while he was watching his own son's game. And it's things like that, whether you're a baseball fan or not, that's not the key of the story. It's really just the fact that Spanish Fork truly is a community. The fact at a baseball game, two strangers, one say, hey, here, use my glove while you're getting your son ready for his game. Those types of things. DT on Main, I'm sure that'll be mentioned tonight. The car show, the Volkswagen car show was fantastic. It's those things of community that really make Spanish Fork a neat and special place, something that you just don't find in other areas. And so to those citizens that shared their baseball gloves, people were watching, and I loved it. It was great to see that camaraderie and just that compassion in our community. So thank you very much. That's it.
Right. Councilman Mendenhall.
Thank you, Mayor. Really quick update on meetings. Had a meeting yesterday, board meeting for the Utah League of Cities and Towns up in Salt Lake. We are one of the 200 65 member cities and towns all across the state of that organization. Many of you know the changes that have happened in that organization, some maybe not, but some changes over the last year that have really retooled the League of Cities and Towns, and I think, in my opinion, made it much more effective and better for what our goals to accomplish are. Just as a way of note, we'll start, the legislative session that starts up for our representatives is already kind of got the wheels in motion of that, and I know our roles in that as local elected officials is a key part of that. They've let us know that already the wheels are turning for different bills that could possibly come up in 2018 that may look to usurp local authority and the power of cities and towns. And so we're prepared, I think, as a league, and we're prepared as a city, as we have been before, to push back, if you will, against those efforts and make sure the authority to govern this city is closest to the citizens, which is elected representatives here. So a lot of good things happening at the league. A tentative budget passed, and then we'll pass a budget next month, just like we'll look to pass a budget here in the city. So other than that, if I could, I'd like to have, and Stacy, maybe you want to help me out with this, but with the Chamber of Commerce, Heather is here. If Heather could come up really quick. Heather, this has to do with the Active and Healthy Committee. The grant funds that we receive from Intermountain Healthcare and from the League of Cities and Towns. The Chamber of Commerce made a great request to use the use of those funds that has been approved. So we wanted to invite Heather here tonight and let her know that happened. Just really quick to paraphrase Heather's letter here of what this is about. The Spanish Fork Chamber of Commerce runs a farmers market each summer. I don't know if you know that, Brandon. Did you know that?
Oh, good to hear.
We've been working this year with our local food pantry, Tabitha's Way, to help improve our market. In working with Tabitha's Way, we have realized that there's a problem getting fresh produce to families who are struggling financially. After research and working with USDA and Utahns Against Hunger, we have decided to accept SNAP, formerly known as food stamps, benefits for our farmers market. While we are thrilled to be able to offer these benefits at the market, the cost to get the market ready to accept SNAP is quite expensive. We would like to petition the Active and Healthy Committee for $750 to help cover the cost of buying the card reader equipment, as well as the cost to cover the advertising efforts to let people know that we will be now accepting SNAP cards at our market. Thank you for all you are doing to keep our community healthy and active, both physically and mentally. Sincerely, Heather Youd, Executive Director for the Chamber of Commerce. Very well worded. Could you write for the mayor? Do you have some time that you could?
She's not a miracle worker.
Oh, okay, all right. Now, very well worded, Heather, and a very worthy cause, and so we'd like to, from the Active and Healthy grant funds, we'd like to present the chamber with a check to be able to purchase that SNAP equipment and help low-income families be able to come down and buy fresh produce starting this summer and fall when you kick that up. So.
Okay, well, thank you so much. This will mean a lot to the market, and I know it'll mean a lot to the residents around. We've been asked quite a few years now if we would accept SNAP benefits, so we're happy that we'll be able to offer that this year.
Cool.
So,
well,
thank you.
This is a great win-win for the city, I think. So, can we get a picture? Mayor, you want to get down there and get a picture? Come on.
Who's going to take it? Angie's got it?
I'm going to share this on social media. We expect a photo bomb.
I want a photo bomb.
There you go. Here.
Did you get us?
What was Brandon doing?
Nothing. Photo bomb.
Photo bomb.
So that's where we're at with the Active and Healthy committee so far. The other real quick update that I'd like to share with you, we have the Wellness Fair coming up on June 17th that Dale and his department has been so involved in. You'll start to see those advertisements go out. We'll share them on the city Facebook page is already there, but we appreciate Angie helping us out with a lot of this as well. But June 17th is a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. will be the Active and Healthy Wellness Fair down at the sports park, and you'll see a bunch of media, including posters around town that will be out shortly advertising that. We'd like to let you know that we have confirmed with the chief that the public safety equipment will be there. So we'll have a fire truck, we'll have ambulances, cop cars there, and you can meet the chief and his folks and learn how to be active and healthy and safe with them. Well, I think we have a picture. Maybe we can, those tank tops that, you know, those.
Maybe I can make that into a poster and encourage our citizens to be active like
The before and after pictures.
We're excited for their help on that day. They're also going to offer, and we'll put this in the publication, but they'll be accepting drug drop-off that day. I don't know what's the official way to say that, Chief. Is that okay? So you can drop off your pills, you know, any opioids, anything like that, to drop it off, and they incinerate those once every while from the department. So they can take them for you, no questions asked, and be able to dispose of those. So that'll be there on that day as well to keep us active and healthy. We're also excited to announce, Brandon, I'll give you a couple clues and see if you can guess who a couple of our speakers are. We've alluded to this already.
Okay.
But we're excited. We're going to have kind of a TED Talk. The stage is going to be down there, and people giving talks for a little bit. And we're excited about a couple of our guests that'll be joining us. Brandon, here goes. See if you can guess who this is. This person, let's see, started his career in football. These are football guys at Cottonwood Heights in Brighton. Played at BYU. Played for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Peter Scopes.
It's pretty close. Nope.
Oh, that,
Let me
did
keep
you
going. Let me
say the
keep going.
position that he played?
First team All-Pro and an NFC champion in 2004.
Because if he played tackle end, it's got to be the mayor. Sit on the end of the bench and tackle anybody that steals the Gatorade.
That's it.
That's it.
No?
That's it. That's not it. This guy's name, it rhymes with Gino Rahe.
Gino Rahe?
Is that the lady that cooks on the Food Network,
no.
Giada?
No.
Okay.
Reno Mahe will be
Oh,
one of our
oh.
speakers.
Reno Mahe. Okay.
Former BYU standout and Philadelphia Eagles, owns a couple of records in the NFL for running back some kickoffs and punt returns. So
He's going to come to Spanish Fork?
Reno is going to come all the way down to Spanish Fork and speak to us about being active and healthy, and a couple of other things. So we're excited to invite Reno. The next guy, Brandon, here you go. Here's your second try here. Yeah, let's give it
Not
a
to
go.
try me.
Yeah. Let's see.
Stacy
It'd be
didn't play
about the same.
football.
Let's
He
just
started out with a leather helmet. It's Chad.
this. Leather helmet. Chad, you never played in a leather helmet, did you?
Hey, it's a reason for hair loss, okay? Right, Chad?
No, that's not wearing a helmet. Why flying?
Oh.
This guy played high school football in San Antonio, Texas.
It's Ty Detmer.
It's pretty good.
Is that right?
That's pretty good.
I got one right. 1 out of 2 is not bad.
Way to redeem
Tell us some more
yourself.
about him.
Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer will also be joining us and speaking down at the Active and Healthy Wellness Fair. So we're excited. Two members of the BYU coaching staff and 2 standouts in what they do will be down there to talk to kids, sign autographs, and talk to the community for a bit. So we're excited. Junior is elated that a couple of BYU guys are coming and not his Utes, but we're excited for them, and we'd like to thank a Spanish Fork native, Gabe Reed, who's also got a great football history there at BYU, has helped us gather these guys and get them here, and he's an active and healthy guy himself. So he'll be down there. We're going to cut a ribbon on some new outdoor exercise equipment there, and Gabe Reed and I are probably going to do some bench press contests there if you'd like to see how that would go. Yeah, and everything else. But it's going to be fun, and those 2 speakers, along with some other great people with mental health insights and physical health insights will be there to speak to us. So make sure, put that on your calendar. Busy summer that everybody has coming up, but Saturday the 17th of June, be around because it'll be a lot of fun down at the sports park. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Great. Yep, you almost beat your record. Yeah. All right, Chad, Councilman Nargo.
I don't have anything at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Beck.
Okay, I have a couple things. You guys know I work for Utah Valley Magazine, and our Best of issue just came out, and Spanish Fork Rodeo was nominated the best rodeo in the county, and the Spanish Fork Farmers Market was nominated as the #1 farmers market in the valley. And then a lot of our local businesses were named in the top 3 categories so we have a lot of just great businesses down here on the south end of the county and getting some good recognition. The car show, if Seth will pull up those pictures, that was the Downtown on Main Committee along with the Chamber of Commerce. Just started, hopefully it was the first annual, but I think we'll shoot for a second annual next year. It was so successful. There were 95 Volkswagen vehicles in the city park on Saturday, and we gave out prizes, lots of awards. VW t-shirts were sold, lots of, well, a couple of food trucks. I won't say lots, but a couple of food trucks. Did you guys all make it? Yeah, there was a mayor's choice. Wolfsburg on Main.
Yes.
So
Got these nice patches.
good T-shirts. It was a good event. So I think that this will just continue to grow over time, and hopefully it drew a lot of our residents down on Main and spent some dollars down there. I thought I would just announce. I don't know if Brandon was going to say something. The Memorial Square remodel, that the ribbon cutting is next Friday at 11, and that's the 26th, I believe. This afternoon, I was over at the sports park helping some of the veterans set up flags and crosses and making a wall of honor. The next 2 days, our local veterans will be hosting the 5th graders in Spanish Fork and Salem Elementaries for about 3 hours over at that park. And they're just going to be sharing the different stories throughout the military. And I know I've said a couple things about that, but it was really neat just to see all the men and a couple women down there setting up this afternoon, and we hope we're not snowed on. And Heather, why don't you run up here and tell us what's been happening in the Chamber of Commerce?
Okay, I don't have a whole lot. We recently sponsored one of the entrants for the Utah State Junior Livestock Show. So we helped to boost the reserve champion hog this year. So, and the girl who raised that hog, her name was Bailey Argyle. Sorry, I almost forgot. And then this week we have our American Legion Walk for Life that we're helping to sponsor. So the American Legion Post 68 is putting that on, and that will run tomorrow and Thursday for all of the 5th graders in Spanish Fork and Salem. So that's all I have.
Thank you. And you got a check today?
And we got a check.
Okay.
Is she one of your high school students?
Yeah, Bailey Argyle is one of the top high school students in the valley. One other thing with the chamber, I remember that Wiggy Wash had its groundbreaking ceremony last week, 2 weeks ago. So we'll have another Wiggy Wash here in Spanish Fork. Okay, I think that's all, Mayor.
I think they were nominated as the best car wash in the valley.
They're one of the top 3.
Go ahead, Councilman Gordon.
Thank you, Mayor. That's really neat about the farmers market. I've had the opportunity to sit on a committee with Heather Youd and some other members of the chamber and other local farmers and growers, and that's certainly neat. That was a little bit of a stress to get that equipment and get it. So we appreciate the Active and Healthy Community Committee, I guess that would be technically. If you'll please pass on thanks from not only me but the farming community as well. That's neat stuff. My dad was mentioning the other day that he might have to finally bite the bullet and get the little square thing for his phone to accept credit cards. He's like, I don't know. I haven't had a check bounce on me yet, and so it's kind of fun to still see an old school guy, embracing the new, right? And take credit cards instead of old checks and stuff. So excited about the farmers market. It'll be here before you know it, the end of July. So wanted to make a mention of that. Memorial Day is coming up. Kudos to our sexton Sterling Johnson up at the cemetery. Things are looking great, and so as many of us are able to go to cemeteries around the valley, especially if you have loved ones here in Spanish Fork, just notice all the attention and care that those guys take and for such a sacred place. And so just wanted to mention that as Memorial Day is coming up. Had an airport board meeting. There's a lot of construction going on out there, new asphalt and other things now that the snow has melted, working on weed control and certain things. And so we approved a budget as well, and things are going well out there at the airport. And that's all I had, Mayor.
Great, thank you. Just following up on Councilmember Beck on the VW car show. Like you said, we had 95, and as I went around talking to a lot of the individuals there said, yeah, there's a lot more that haven't showed up, and they're missing out, you know. So kudos to Dave Anderson and Kimberly for putting that on. They enjoyed it, a lot of neat prizes handed out, and a lot of awards. So that was helps bring people together down here on Main Street. So that was awesome. I was able to this past week or last week, I was able to go to Chicago. As you know, the Spanish Fork's in membership with the UMPA. There's 6 cities that we provide your power, and Provo is being one of them. And if you notice the power, the big smokestacks over in Provo, they were taken down about 6 months ago. There was a little power plant right there that they tore down and building a new one. So we're getting some new gas-fired generators, turbines, which Caterpillar is making for us. So the dealer wanted us to go back and tour the plant, show them where our turbines are coming from. Pretty impressive to go through that Caterpillar plant. And just by chance, one of 4 of our turbines was sitting on the floor there. So that was kind of cool to go stand by it and know that's heading to good old Utah and see there. So want to, yep, that's all I had. That's all I had. Okay. Is that good?
That's good. That's good enough for me.
Mayor, maybe one thing, while you're talking about Main Street, can you confirm for some people, I forgot to bring this up and Stacy reminded me, but Memorial Square with its ribbon cutting next week, we have not lost a brick or a plaque or anything in the remodel of that, right? You can assure citizens of that.
There was a lot of concern when we remodeled that Memorial Square that there was a rumor going around that we were going to throw away the bricks, throw away the plaques. Every single brick that had a name on it and every single plaque that was there is still there, and we just beautified that. It's going to be pretty awesome. A place to go gather, look at the names, and take someone down there that can tell you all about the names on there. That'll be what's fun. I did that with Seth and Dave, and I think I impressed
Everyone.
them. I think I impressed you, didn't I?
Every single name.
Yeah, and all the ones I knew. So anyway, that's another thing that we're doing, along with our car show, with our Memorial Square. We're really active trying to help the merchants and people downtown. Oh, and that's the other thing. I'd like to thank all the citizens, all the volunteers that came and helped plant flowers. What a great service that is to the city. That saves us a lot of money, and it helps us to feel part of this community and by providing service. And I get a lot of comments from people out of town as they come down, they see those flowers and say, boy, you sure have a beautiful Main Street. And we love coming down there. So kudos to everybody that helps make that happen. Okay, let's move on to consent items.
Motion to approve the consent items.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by Councilmember Beck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, new business. Red Core branding contract.
Filling in for Tyler today. He's in Emmitsburg, Maryland, learning how to present better on television in the event of a disaster. It's good stuff.
We force him out there.
No, he's actually really excited. I'm excited to have him there. It's a great training to be back at Emmitsburg, Maryland. You get immersed in whatever the course is that you're doing. They put you in a lot of live scenarios, and so he'll be on camera and doing different things and learning great stuff. But I'm here to talk about the branding update that was requested by our elected officials, and we fully support it. Absolutely. I'm excited, actually, for this this project that we'll do, and Tyler will head this up. We will hit the space bar on that keyboard. The company that we have that responded and ultimately we're presenting tonight is named Red Core. We had, I think, 4 proposals. We interviewed 2 companies, one that has been doing work with us for the last 8 or so years, and then this company that we are presenting tonight, Red Core. In Red Core's proposal, they had 6 brand goals. One was to replace the current motto, the first one, from Surround Yourself with Pride and Progress, or the home of Pride and Progress, and they'll kind of work that through the process and figure out how to best word either one of those. But they have that as their first goal. The second one is to develop a brand that is up to date and reflects the future of what Spanish Fork City wants to achieve and believes in. And then another goal is to develop a program that will reestablish a distinct identity for Spanish Fork City that will allow the city to fully promote its greatest qualities. Continuing on, a couple of other goals that they have are to, that was my subtle hint for you, develop a brand that is easy to read from a distance, to build brand awareness. Frankly, one of the strongest weaknesses, if I can say that, or the biggest weaknesses to the logo that we have today is that it's difficult to read from up close, let alone from afar. Provide recommendations on the opportunities that the city should pursue in efforts to implement the brand. I'm always very excited about this one because it's interesting to get the creative juices from others on how we can best promote our brand. Finally, differentiate the city from other cities by developing an ownable brand that shows strength, creative thinking, and strong understanding. So they have a few steps in the process. You'll see in the packet that they presented that there are the city council audit is one of their first steps. We'll set up a work session with you. They'll pick your brains for a little while. Actually, no, sorry. I think they wanted to do that one at a time and then maybe pull you all together depending on whatever. But they want to pick your brains one at a time. Brand team audit. There will be a brand team that might include some of you as well as some staff. Public research audit, creative concepting, finalized design, developing touch points as designed, and then the final work product, that's the style guide. That's a lot of work. And they propose to do all of that in 75 days, plus or minus.
Vanna White?
For about $15,900. Quite frankly, we were really excited about their price. This is a great price for what essentially is a very large project. Some people think that just slap a couple of pieces of or lines on a paper and just pull it together, and that really isn't something that will say the true what is Spanish Fork. I don't know what the true image is that says Spanish Fork, but looking at some of their work history, which we will look at here in a second, these guys are really good at getting at what is the imagery. So some of their clients, and these are not anything other than you'll see these logos and say, oh, I recognize that work. Does a good job. The first image will show some of the work product that they have with the company local here, New Ways. These are some of the things. Sorry for the grainy picture. I was boosting this information. But they'll come up with, oh, that's why. It'll work now, Dave. How to put it on your logo, how do you put it on a truck. But this is the New Ways logo that they designed. They actually did the work for Provo City. And if you look at Provo City and how they do their logo, they have about 25 or so different applications of the Provo logo so that it's unique but also cohesive amongst their different entities, like their power utility and their water utility and the Covey Center for the Arts, Channel 17 and more. Springville Library, Bluffdale City. This is one that we recognize. Fat Boy, some of us recognize more than others. Nature's Sunshine is a great company here in town. They designed their logo, Marinda. And then they did the logo for Deseret Book. Again, I apologize for the graininess of this. This is not this company's fault. This is my fault. This Life of Jesus Christ Bible videos, the Lionhouse Bakery, and all these other companies. So they've got an impressive resume of work that you and I see from different companies around Utah as well as across the nation, not so much international. But they're local. They're from a neighboring community, and we'll meet with them once a week and work this through. And at the end of the day, I'm very confident that we'll have a product that you will be very proud of. So we present Redcore, that contract from Redcore, for about just under $16,000. We do have the funds in the current budget. We should be able to pay for this in FY17's budget without any issue. Need approval from you on that contract. And Councilman Mendenhall sat on that. If you want to add anything else, you're welcome to.
Just echo what Seth said there. Good work by the city staff again to vet this out. Tyler played a great role, and Redcore seems like a very competent company and excited about the product that they'll start sharing with us. They seem very in depth, so it'll be good.
Right. All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve Redcore's branding contract.
I make a motion to approve the Redcore branding contract.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Mendenhall, a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Ordinance 13-17, amending the Spanish Fork City Municipal Code concerning the appointment of a recorder and treasurer.
Thank you, Mayor. So the appointment of the recorder and treasurer, which is required for each city to have, but that's been dictated by state law. And for as long back as I can remember, the state law has said that the recorder and the treasurer need to be recorded after each municipal mayoral election. So every 4 years when we have a mayor up for election, following that election, the treasurer and recorder need to be reappointed, or they can be appointed for the first time, but they have to be appointed. The same was not true of any other position, just those two. So this legislative session, the legislature changed that law, and they're still required to be appointed by the mayor, but the need to reappoint them every 4 years is now gone. And that law became effective May 9th, so last week, and we are taking our first opportunity to take advantage of that and remove the need to do a formal reappointment. So once they're appointed, they will remain until they retire or are removed by your action. Questions?
All right, I'd entertain a motion for ordinance 13-17.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 13-17, amending the Spanish Fork City Municipal Code concerning the appointment of recorder and treasurer.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Councilman Argyle and second by Councilmember Beck. This will be a roll call vote. Councilman Scobes.
Aye.
Councilman Mendenhall.
Aye.
Councilman Gordon.
Aye.
Councilmember Beck.
Aye.
Councilman Argyle.
Aye.
That is unanimous. You're off the hook there, Angie. Somebody is, somebody. All right, resolution 17-08, approving an interlocal agreement with Utah County for the administrating of the 2017 election and authorizing the mayor
It's
to
the election season.
sign it. Holy cow.
This year is going to be different from all the 25 years I've been doing the elections. We are going to let the county help us do the elections this year. They've requested an opportunity, asked us if we would let them help us because they are one of the last counties in the state to hold out to do vote by mail. And this year is our election, not their election. but they want to use us as a guinea pig, or the whole county as a guinea pig, and ask if we would let them help in the process of the elections this year. And so in order to do that, we need to have a interlocal agreement between us and the county, authorizing them and setting up a contract what we have to pay them to do part of this election year. I am still going to be the election officer. Some of the election is still going to go through me, but the process of ballots and counting of the ballots, mailing of the ballots, all that is going to be done through the county for the most part. There are some things that will still be ours here, and between now and the next couple of months, we'll get more detail of how we're going to do our elections. I don't want to get in that tonight. We'll have a longer meeting for that. But this agreement is just to sign up an agreement with the county to say, will you do the vote by mail? But in a nutshell, what it is the county is in charge of all registrations. The city doesn't do any of the voter registration. So they already have the list of who's registered, and it gets updated every month. It gets updated. What's going to happen is they are going to mail a ballot to every registered voter. So it's important for everyone to get registered if they want to get a ballot mailed to them. Then that ballot will be mailed to them from the county 3 weeks before Election Day. And then it gives that registered voter 3 weeks to decide, study it up, vote, sign your name, seal it up, and send it back. The sending back goes to the county. They'll process it and do the counting and stuff like that. They won't reveal the count of all those that come in those 3 weeks until the night of election. But there's still going to be ballots that are going to be mailed in that day that doesn't get there yet, and so there's going to be more ballots that are going to come in for the next 2 weeks afterwards. As long as they're postmarked the day before the day of the election, that can be valid. Now you ask the question, what about those on the night if they didn't get a ballot, or they moved here but forgot to get registered, but they still should be able to maybe vote, or maybe they moved from one side of the town to the other side of town and got returned, they didn't get a ballot, or they ruined their ballot, or they lost their ballot. On the night of the election, during that day, for those that had trouble with their ballots or didn't get one sent to them, there'll be a voting helper center here at the city office that they could come and drop off their ballot if they didn't mail it yet, or they could come and cast a provisional ballot. And so it just takes a little bit longer, so I'd encourage everybody to vote, mail it back in. If you come here on Election Day, you'll stand in the line, fill out a lot of information on your outside of your envelope, so it'll take a lot longer, and then encourage people, just mail it in, don't come that night. But if you have trouble or don't have a ballot, there is a way they could vote on Election Day still at one place. So there won't be the polling places throughout the city. There'll just be one place here. And so if a lot of people come, it might be crowded here at that one place. So this agreement is to let the county do all that. It will be a little bit more expensive than it has in the past, but hopefully voter turnout and getting the ballots into the homes will get maybe a bigger turnout. That's what we hope.
Okay. Any questions, comments? If not, I would entertain a motion on Resolution 17-8.
I move that we approve Resolution 1708, approving an interlocal agreement with Utah County for the administration of the 2017 municipal election, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Scopes, a second by Councilman Mendenhall. This will be a roll call vote. Councilman Mendenhall.
Aye.
Councilman Gordon.
Aye.
Councilmember Beck.
Aye.
Councilmember Argal.
Aye.
Councilman Scopes.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Utilities leak detention proposal.
Third to the last page, the best graphic. We had a company, it's actually a company out of Israel that is teaming up with a company that's coming to Spanish Fork, IMSAR, to work together on some leak detection work, which they've done quite a bit all over the world, but they want to do in our area. And basically what they do is they take some sort of infrared satellite images of a city, and then they fly it with some of the equipment that MSAR makes, and they're able to detect where the water lines are underneath the ground, and then detect within 300 feet from this imagery where likely leaks are. And then they provide the city with a map that looks like this and says somewhere in this area there's a leak. And then there's leak detection equipment where you can go in and hook onto a meter in this area and be able to hear where the leaks are, pinpoint them, and then repair them. And originally they came to us and asked us if we'd be interested in doing the whole town. It costs $20,000, and at that point we were not ready to commit to that. But they have contacted us at the end of last week and said that they really would like to get something out of our airport where the MSAR is going in, where they currently run the airplanes, and would be willing to do it for $5,000 to do the whole city and help us find those leaks. We have been doing a little bit of leak detection and proactively trying to find leaks and repair them before they blow up, and then we have an unscheduled outage that is really inconvenient for people, and so we're kind of excited about this, but because of their schedule, we have to agree to it by the 19th if we're going to do it, and so we thought we'd bring that. It's a good way to support a business that's coming to our airport, and we're really excited to have MSAR here, but also I think this could do a lot of good for us. Our water department's been very proactive at trying to find unaccounted for water, and they have reduced the amount of unaccounted for water or leaks or whatever it is by 10% in the last 5 or 6 years, which is quite a bit, to where we were above average as far as cities go. Now we're below average in how much unaccounted for water, but this should help us even reduce that more. So,
How much do we normally spend on leak detection, Chris?
we spent $5,000 last year. That was the first time we've contracted out leak detection. We've been looking for unaccounted for water, taking care of that in a lot of other ways before then.
So that's an argument for savings, right? If there's leaks in the water that's being wasted.
Yeah. There's a couple leaks that we have found that are saving us tens of thousands of dollars every year because we stop them up. So it's good.
That's wise. Good.
Is it public knowledge? Maybe explain to the residents what MSAR does. Is it public knowledge, knowing what they do as a company?
Yeah, so they're a radar company, and a lot of times if you look at the intersections that have traffic signals, you see those little white square radar detection equipment. The MSAR makes those, as well as some military grade radar detection stuff for aircraft. So.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve, how do you say it?
Utilis.
Utilis. Leak detection proposal.
So moved.
Second?
Got a motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by Councilmember Beck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's done. All right. Access Architect Task Order 3.
Okay, so we've been working with Access Architects to get a design of a expansion of the clubhouse to include a reception area. That would be a multi-purpose type reception area, and with that, we have asked them on the back side of it. We have kind of a what's called a terrace, and we have to connect to that terrace. And so what we would like them to do is connect that to that terrace in such a way that it's a much larger area that you could stage some events and put some tables and stuff out there instead of just having it be a walkway They're already running beams to run the walkway. It just seems to make sense to run the beams a little bit further and have a larger area that can really be utilized for maybe some outdoor type events, and for a relatively low amount of money construction wise, you'd have a much better area to take advantage of. And so with that, it does take some more structural engineering and some reworking of the plans. So that was one item that this would be for. The other we've already talked to you about, and that was to design and create a bid package for remodeling the interior of the existing building to match the expansion, so that it ties together and the paint and the carpet matches and like that. And so that also would be included in this task order 3. And then finally, we had a vestibule going on the outside entrance into the clubhouse area, but with the wind up there, we felt like it'd be important to have one going into the reception area as well. And so adding that comes up to task order number 3.
Okay, any questions, comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the Axis Architects Task Order number 3.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Member Mendenhall and a second by Councilman Scobes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, board appointments. We have a vacancy on our Planning and Zoning Board, and I would like to appoint Kevin Euler to that.
I move that we approve the mayor's appointment of Kevin Euler to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Scobes, a second by Councilman Argal. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Do we have closed session? I move we go into closed session for reasonably imminent litigation and land transaction.
All right.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by Councilman Mendenhall. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned and done. Thank you for coming and attending.
The requirement was that you had